Alright, here we are with Chapter 1 Review Topics 3, Absolute Value Equations. Those are the ones with the little bars on the side. So, first example, what you got to do first is isolate the absolute value part, that's this part here. Then you got to make two equations and then solve each of them. So it's already isolated because this absolute value part over here has nothing on the outside. There's no multiplier, there's no divider, there's nothing else that you gotta do to get rid of it. So then you're gonna make two equations where the first one's exactly the same without the bars. The second one is exactly the same except the number by itself is now negative. So that's just that there is negative. So now you solve each by doing the same thing to both sides, and you get two solutions for these, which are almost always different answers. And yes, fractions are okay too, and you can always plug those back in for the variable if you want to check your answer. Sometimes it's a pain when they're fractions or decimals. So our second example here, got kind of a lot of stuff going on the outside. So what we got to do is get the absolute value alone. Let's isolate the absolute value part. So what we're going to do is do our order of operations backwards. So first we subtract the 9, then we're left with just this part here. So we're going to divide by the 4, and that gives us this result. So now we make from here, that just gives us our two equations to solve. So we make two equations and then solve them each by doing the same thing to both sides, and there we go. Our third example just looks a little crazier, but okay, so what's weird here? We got an absolute value on the right, but that's okay, that doesn't matter. We have decimals, but that's okay, decimals are numbers too. And then sometimes people forget that when you're dividing this whole side by something, your first step is going to be to multiply both sides by that number. So what that does is cancel out the 0.8. Now we got it isolated, so we're going to make two equations. Now I kept it in the same order here. So since the number was on the left, I put a positive 25 and then a negative 25, where this part stays the same. And they're on the left or the right are switched. Alright, and then we solve each by doing the same thing to both sides and working our way backwards. So we just get a decimal for one, the other one actually works out to be a nice number, and there we go.